Hello and welcome to the Bad Spot, and this is Stargazer 101. Stargazer is a web app developed by the wonderful Nick Boughton, and it's an incredibly intuitive and powerful tool for keeping track of your Starforged games. In addition, it has a lot of integrated features that you'd usually expect to find on a virtual tabletop, which means you can not only use it to track your games, you can use it to play them too. It's free to use and you'll find a link that will take you straight to it in the description below. I've been playing with it for a few weeks now and well, it's an absolute marvel. So in this video, I'm going to give you an overview of how it works and how to use it. When you boot up an ongoing campaign, this is what you'll expect to see. This is my game that many of you will have watched on this channel. We have my character, Archer Barlow's character sheet, where you will find all his stats and trackers and current momentum. And then scrolling down, you'll see we've got all the assets we've acquired with summaries of their abilities and upgrades. And then down the bottom here, we have our legacy tracks and conditions. Over here on the right hand side, we've got the Journal, Oracle and Moves tab that you can toggle on and off by clicking this icon up here. In the Campaign tab, you will find details of all the factions we've encountered and also the truths that we established about our world back in Session 0. In the Challenges tab, you'll find the active vows we have running and the progress we've made on them in addition to any other progress tracks we have ongoing. The last tab we have at the top here is the Sector tab, where you can visually chart your journey through the Forge. This is the sector, the Delphian Flux, where my characters are now. And you can save multiple sectors, as you'll see here. This is the Corvus Breach, where it all began back in my first season. So that's the Whistle Stop tour, but how do you actually use it? Well, let's dive right in and set up a fresh campaign. To do that, we're going to click the three little lines up in the top left to bring up this sidebar. From here you can see all the campaigns I have saved, so if you have multiple games running you can seamlessly flick between the two. There are also options for loading and exporting, but for now we're going to click New Campaign. Doing this randomly generates a character name from the oracles and also a call sign, but don't worry if that's not something you want. We can go in and change those later. But first we'll do what we always do when we start a new campaign, and that's choose our truths. So click into the Campaign tab and that will bring up this screen. Now here you can change your campaign title if you want. The default is the randomly generated name it came up with for your character. Now I've got a general idea of the type of character and game I want to play, so I'm going to call this one Low Tilt, Full Throttle. There's a faction section, but as we haven't encountered any factions yet, we'll come back to this. What we want from this tab are these truths. And same as if you were doing this with pen and paper, you simply go through each category and either pick an option, roll at random, or write your own. To pick, you just click one of these drop downs and choose which of the options you want, and it fills out this text box with your choice. If you don't want to pick and you want to let fate decide and randomize your choices, then you can click the dice icon here. And once again, it drops the randomly selected text in the box. And if you want to write your own truths, then just simply type whatever you want in the box. It's very straightforward. And you can edit or expand on any of these options. So, for instance, if you want undead hunters in your game as part of the horror's truth, but you don't want them to be called soulbinders, you can just change it to something else equally as cool. Once you're done, your truths live in this tab for you to come back and check back on whenever you want. Now, let's fill out a character for this new campaign. If you've got the Starforged rulebook to hand, you can use Stargazer to follow the steps for setting up a campaign in order as set out in the book, but here I'm just going to talk through the features page by page. Up here we've got our character details, stats and condition tracks that you just manually fill out following the character creation rules. And also this is where you can put your gear and all the other little descriptors. Then we need to choose some assets, and they can be found by clicking the little plus icon here. You can now read through each one and see what they do in game, and then just click the add button to select it. We'll take the starship as standard, and then I want to play a character who is an ace pilot who has their own snub fighter. And I also want them to be a hot-headed gunslinger with an itchy trigger finger. So selecting these assets will add them to our sheet. And also Stargazer has a wealth of customization options, including the ability to add your own assets. So if you found one of the many available community made assets or you have come up with your own, this is where you add it in. Any assets like vehicles or companions can be named by simply filling in these fields as you like. And I suppose now would be a good time to talk about the Journal, Oracle and Moves pane. Like I said, you'll find this absolutely wondrous set of tools on the right, and you can toggle it on and off. Now I don't like the name and call sign it gave us at the start, so let's use the Oracle to roll up new ones. So clicking the little chevron here drops down all the oracles in the game. Yes, all of them. And again, such is the flexibility of Stargazer, you can even add your own custom oracles if you like. Anyway, for a name and call sign, we are going to need the character oracle. So let's drop that down. So like before with the truths, clicking the dice icon will roll a random result. You can see all the different fields here, but I just want a name and call sign. So let's roll those up now. Asherbecker Deadeye. There we go. That's our new name and call sign. We'll come back to more oracles shortly, but let's minimize these for now and open our journal. Now this is an amazing tool if you journal your games, and even if you don't, it's an incredible way to make notes and crucially keep them organized. During character creation and campaign setup, your character is going to need a backstory. So let's make a new journal entry. Here we can give the journal entry a name, we'll call it backstory. And let's make some notes about our character and their background. You can go into as much depth as you want here, and it's all formattable. You can even add pictures if you want. And then when you minimize them, you can see all of your entries by title. If you hop back to my game for a second, you can see that my journal is arranged almost scene by scene, but you can organize these however you want. Whilst we've got this pane open, let's have a look at the moves. Here you'll find references for all the moves in game. They are organized and color-coded by type, and there's even a search function. Just having these here is incredibly helpful, and they are quick and easy to search through and reference. In the Challenges tab, let's put our background vow, and then the iron vow that we swear at the start of the campaign that kickstarts our adventure. You choose the rank below to set the difficulty, and as you mark progress on these, you just click on the boxes to mark the ticks like this. And when you want to roll against the progress on any of these tracks, you just click the dice at the end here, and there you go. We'll also, down the bottom, have our sector connection listed. Now, let's get to sector generation, which is so cool. You have the sector name here, which is randomly generated each time you start a new one, and again, you can roll up a different name using the oracles like I showed you before, or just change it manually to whatever you like. Each sector has a region on a drop-down menu, so we can just change that to what is appropriate to our game. And then from here, we can fill out and add whatever we encounter in a sector. If you double-click a hex and then choose location from the drop-down, then click the select arrow, you can pick what it is that we want to add. Then click the plus and it will add it in, and from here, we can edit all the details. But it's actually pretty rare that you do it this way due to how we explore the Forge through gameplay. So Stargazer allows you to randomly generate these things using the oracles, and it is a very, very slick feature. So let me show you how to do that. Let's double click a hex like before and set the cell status to location. Then instead of filling out the details, we'll just close the window. You'll see then that the hex now has a designation, a little grid reference. This one is H75. Then let's open the oracles, and let's say we're going to generate a settlement. We'll open the settlement oracle, and here are the options. First, we must make sure the region matches ours, which is the Outlands. Then you can roll up the details. However, as is the nature of exploration in Starforged, you don't often know all the details about something right away. You roll up a few things initially, then discover the rest as you go. And this is built into Stargazer. With the little double dice icon down here, this allows you to roll up a first look. So if we do that now, it fills in what we might expect to know when we first encounter these things. If you're not happy with any of these, you can edit them if you want to tweak the results, and if you want to re-roll, just keep clicking the dice. And once you're happy, go to the bottom, click the drop down and select the sector we're trying to add this to. Then we can assign these oracle rolls to a cell. And lo and behold, cell H75 is right here. We choose that, press the little save icon, and voila. And that's how we use the oracles to fill out our sector. Anything you add appears in the drop-down of locations, so you can add settlements to planets and people to settlements, all in one place. It's very intuitive, and it's Not just people and places, anything we roll up whilst exploring the sector we can add. Derelicts, creatures, celestial bodies, vaults, everything. And we can even use the sector map to mark passages between these locations by just single-clicking the hex. This change in colour denotes a passage, and if you make a mistake, you can just set the cell status from passage to empty. There's also a field for faction control of each sector, so let's roll one of those up, again using the oracles. Then we can type that faction into the field up here, and this time when you click the save icon, it actually fills out the faction page back in the campaign tab. And if we click there, you'll see that all the details have been added here, and there's even a field so you can make notes on them as you learn more. So we've got everything set up, we've got everything where we want it, and all we need to do now is start playing the game. We can journal what we're doing here and organise it however we want, so as Asher starts to make progress on her first vow, you can see that I've got journal entries for each scene, if you will, or notable things that have happened. Clicking this dice icon in the top right hand corner toggles another very handy tool, which is the inbuilt dice roller. This allows you to roll challenge and action dice, but also you can roll d6 and percentile dice if you ever need to. And here's Asher's first quest. We've tracked the navigational unit to a scrap bandit camp, and having been discovered trying to sneak in, it looks like a fight is about to break out, so we're going to enter the fray. You can check over the move in the reference, making sure you know what you're doing, then roll the dice, clicking the stat that we want to roll against. In this instance, we're facing off against our foe, so we're going to enter the fray rolling plus iron. And you can see, as often is the way with Ironsworn, we rolled a miss, which is not ideal. So let's help ourselves out by burning our momentum, and you do that by clicking on this little flame icon. And that adjusts the result and automatically resets it to the default. By clicking the save icon, it then saves that dice roll to our journal. So by using the roller, the oracles, the moves reference in the journal, you can track your game really effectively and go to whatever level of detail you want. It's truly amazing. Stargazer also has an export and import feature. There's no sync function, but you can export your campaign data and then open it on another device. So let's export this campaign now in the menu where this all began. Now we're on desktop right now, so let's download this file and then drag and drop it into Google Docs. Then let's switch to my iPad and open Stargazer in the browser on that. Then we can import the file like so, and we're up and running. It truly is an incredible piece of kit. So that's Stargazer, and I can't sing its praises highly enough if I'm honest, and like I said, there's probably a whole lot more you can do with it beyond this brief overview. It's an incredible tool, so get your games on it, start exploring and playing around to see what you can do. If you've enjoyed this how-to, then please check out my others, but not before leaving a like, subscribing and clicking the little bell icon to stay notified of when the next video drops. I'll be back next time, but until then, it's farewell and safe passage.